with those because I find them very intriguing, and I do update them almost daily. So the latest in CERN concerns is the God machine critics to the UN. Experiment an affront to human rights. With the CERN Particle Physics Lab due to start shooting particles around its Large Hadron Collider, which of course are named Alice and Atlas. Now let's just realize, I've gone over this a bit, that Alice through the looking glass is part of this mind control campaign, but we're also looking at this idea of going into the other dimension. And then Atlas, of course, was the king of Atlantis. And I have some curious stories about Atlantis coming up as well. So the Large Hadron Collider is again launching this month. We call it Red Button Day. And the first particle collisions are expected in December. So the anti-Large Hadron Collider campaigners are on the warpath again. A new group calling itself the Committee on CERN Experimental Dangers, or Concerned, will submit a complaint on the 3rd of November. Is that today? Yes. To the Human Rights Committee of the UN, calling for the work at the LHC to be stopped because it threatens life on Earth and so violates the complainant's human rights. Some physicists have suggested that the extreme high energy of the collisions that will take place at the LHC could create postulated entities including mini black holes and strangelets, which seem to replicate themselves over and over again until utter destruction. Critics say that the tiny black holes could swallow up the Earth, or that strangelets could convert all matter into strange matter. But leading physicists who have studied the matter say that well-established principles all but guarantee that neither catastrophe would occur. But of course they really have no idea. It was the same when they launched HARP. It was the same when they exploded a neutron bomb in the atmosphere. They don't know. They really don't know what's going to happen when it goes on. And why do I remember the events of HARP so well? Well, I was awake and aware during that time and watching it all happen. I watched as all the states lost power when they turned that damn thing on. I watched as the whole half or portion of the apparatus melted because they had gone too far. Now, the CERN scientists are saying they were going to launch this at safety power generation, which made me wonder as I was reading that article, and you'll find that there, what will they do when they're not using safety? We'll get more to that. All right, so the main argument in these reviews has been that collisions of similar energies happen daily in the upper atmosphere as cosmic rays slam into atoms in the air, and so far Earth has survived. So concerned and similar groups argue that since such review committees are convened by CERN and staffed with particle physicists who have devoted their careers to the results of the LHC experiments, there is a conflict of interest. They are calling for a halt to CERN's work. Now, some may believe and have actually announced that CERN would be stopped from the future. Yes, Danish physicist Dr. Holger Beck-Nielsen and Dr. Ninomiya from Japan claim nature is trying to prevent the LHC from finding the elusive Higgs boson, called the God particle. The theoretical boson could explain the origins of mass in the universe, if physicists can find the darn thing, they say. So one could even say that we have a model for God, said Dr. Nielsen. He rather hates Higgs particles and attempts to avoid them. While it is a paradox to go back in time and kill your grandfather, physicists agree there is no paradox if you go back in time and save him from being hit by a bus. In the case of the Higgs in the collider, it is as if something is going back in time to keep the universe from being hit by a bus. It must be our prediction that all Higgs-producing machines shall have bad luck, Dr. Nielsen told the New York Times. So when they are saying that they have this multi-billion-dollar machine that has been taking 20 years to create, and that it's featured in Daniel Brown's Angels and Demons book, and might possibly cause black holes or punch holes into the other dimension, or at least give them the understanding necessary to find out why there is mass in the universe. One of these situations may occur unless time steps in and shuts it down from the future. this will be a very curious thing to watch. I am highly intrigued and somewhat concerned about CERN. You know, of course, their corporate logo being 666 with the hyperdimensional portal. And if I look at this spectrum as I have been, then when I look to all of this influence, I absolutely see the destruction of matter with the atomic bomb, the recreation of matter with the use of creating matter out of photons, light into mass, light into matter, and now trying to figure out how to get the mass back into it, because the photon experiment was nearly massless. I see a transportation teleportation device attempting to be created. Now you couple with this the mind-preserving technology that is coming out of MIT and realize that they are saying that they can transmit your soul via radio frequency waves. Then you can also tap into HARP, being that it is just one of the largest radio frequency antennas in the world. What's going on here? So that is the beginning of our strangeness in whether or not we'll be able to adapt when we start to understand the paradigm that we actually exist in. We want to go about and say that we know what's going on in the world and that everything's just straightforward, and Freeman, not everything's a conspiracy. But yet I continually find them, and I continue to see this puzzle as it unfolds before it unfolds. And what I try to do is attempt to tell you about these situations so that you know that this was already there long before they announced it to you. So as I was speaking about Obama and the coupling of the DoD with NASA and using asteroids, and next thing you know, we have a large asteroid come near the planet. Hopefully you've been forewarned. Hopefully you can see this is all part of the game plan, that everything is going according to plan. Now, the latest asteroid was the one that came in over Indonesia and now is raising new fears about Earth's defenses once again. And this was October 8th, right before the bombing of the moon. The rock crashed into the atmosphere above South Sulawesi, Indonesia. The blast was heard by monitoring station 10,000 miles away. Scientists are concerned that it was not spotted by any telescopes and that, had it been larger, it could have caused a disaster. The asteroid, estimated to be around 10 meters or 30 feet across, hit the atmosphere at an estimated 45,000 miles per hour. The sudden deceleration caused it to heat up rapidly and explode with the force of 50,000 tons of TNT. Now luckily, due to the height of the explosion, estimated between 9 to 12 miles above sea level, no damage was caused on the ground. The fireball was spotted by locals in Indonesia, and a YouTube video taken that day appears to show a large dust cloud consistent with the bright daylight fireball. Now the thing is that here I was announcing and following all of these type of things, and especially the curious ones, such as the one that went over HARP facility back in '99. A meteor that came in, went directly over the facility, exploded in the atmosphere, causing the clouds to disperse at 1,000 miles an hour, causing a sonic boom that got the people of Anchorage to run to their basements thinking it was the end of the world, and 3 hours later an earthquake. Now, again, as I discuss this, I always go back to Milosevic accusing the U.S. of using HARP technologies to cause earthquakes and floods. And this brings me to a curious note on my report on Red Eye's Creations, the Sorcerers, or what did he title that? Obama Cloning and the Sorcerers of Atlantis. And I was reading through the comments, and of course I understand that thousands of people have watched this, and only a few leave messages, and of course it's typically the ones that feel the need for ceremonial pissing. And so therefore you will mostly see negative comments left on videos, and that is because these people can't help but spew their filth onto the picture. Right, get up and do it yourself then, my friend. But one of the comments said that, well, he's just saying that you can't get the USA Today archives, and I went and Googled it, and sure enough, there's USA Today archives. Yes, my friend, there are USA Today archives on the internet, but you will not find the paper. the actual headlines that were placed in the newspaper that day. You are not going to find the stories as I am reporting them because they don't database the USA Today. So yes, you may find the USA Today on the internet, but this is not a data-based newspaper as all the others are that you can go to the library, check microfiche, go and check the old papers. They do not exist. So just realize that many of these stories I wish I still had. I wish someone had saved all of the newspapers from USA Today from December of 1999 so that I could show you these headlines like Masons stop or Muslims stop the Freemasons from capping the Great Pyramid with gold. Absolutely the headline on USA Today, December of 1999. Or Milosevic accusing U.S. causing earthquakes and floods. So as I was tracking